Welcome, everyone, to JSA TV Live, the live streaming newsroom for data center professionals. I'm Jamie Scotto-Kataya of JSA, and today we are speaking with investors, data center platform owners, and energy specialists as they converge right here at Platform Congress along the French Riviera. So, bonjour, everyone. I'm Jamie Scotto-Kataya. Joining me today, we have Vincent Barrault. He is the Vice President of Secure Power and Data Center Business for Schneider Electric. Welcome to JSA TV Live, Vincent.
Nice to be with you, Jamie.
It is a pleasure to have you here on this beautiful, gorgeous day, and the event is definitely kicking up. You can feel the energy on the floor. And of course, this is the inaugural Platform Congress event, and we're so excited to be part of it. Schneider, of course, here in a big way. Tell us, why do you believe Platform Congress is such an important event for our industry?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of energy today, but I can tell you there was a lot of energy last night as well.
Yes, they did the initial cocktail reception.
Exactly. So as you can see, despite of it, there's a lot of people today here, and mainly in conference. No, I mean, why it's really interesting, because we know very well as Schneider, the organizer. So even for us, it was a bet, let's be honest, because it's the first one.
Yep.
But we know that the team of Gregory, Philippe, etc., got a huge track record in the industry in this type of event.
Yes.
So it was a non-brainer.
Yes.
And as we can see today, it was the right choice to be there.
Yes, for us as well. You get the call from Philip or Nicola, and they say, "Come on out," and you said, "Okay, tell me when." Tell me when.
What is really interesting and not expected is, I mean, first of all, winter is coming. So we know, unfortunately, with last year experience, that in winter comes as well the COVID. So I think it's maybe the last opportunity in Europe and definitely in France to beat each other. Let's see.
Yeah.
Finger crossed that this year will be better. So that's great. And as we all know, there's a geopolitical situation which is weird. And to be all together today give us certainty to share all our problems, all our questions. And it's great to confirm some assumptions that we have and how we will work together in the future for this industry.
I couldn't agree more. And time is of the essence. The timing of this, so critical, so much at risk today. And sustainability being, of course, a founding pillar of Schneider these days. Your efforts within the digital infrastructure community is really a big theme on display here at Platform Congress, as well as, a major part of your core values at Schneider. So can you tell us some of the initiatives your team is currently working on in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, so first of all, sustainability is not a new topic for us. So more than 15 years, we do sustainability. So it's really core of our DNA. And the best way to prove it is really to see the type of acquisitions that we did from day one. What is a real topic that we see at the moment is really electricity 4.0.
Yeah.
So what this means is how to be more efficient with the energy is really to mix digital and electricity. More digital, more electricity is really the future of sustainability. And definitely what we do is to support our customer through the whole life cycle, from consulting, services, infrastructure, software. I mean, we have a lot of solutions, but clearly what we see a lot more at the moment, hello lady, it's really to talk about the digital twin.
Yes.
How do you manage fully digitally your infrastructure and your energy management is a big topic. And as you can see with Schneider, and as you said, we are a lot of people there to support and walk the talk. Because the main topic is now it's time to act. So you need supplier who are able to do. And the good thing is we have the solution to support our customer with their challenges.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for data center providers as we're further pushing, growing together to keep sustainability and energy at our core focus? Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, first of all, I think, as I said, it's time to act. So when we talk about data center infrastructure, you talk 2-3 years in advance. So if you don't plan now, and if you don't talk to the people in the industry who know how to manage it, you will be in trouble.
Yeah.
And we did a big research with Forrester, which really show that customer, but even employee, are looking to see more sustainability and purpose-driven topic. If you don't take care of it now, you will be very fast in trouble because you will lose your business and you will lose your customer. So
That's right. It's not a nice to have, it's a must have, and it's a competitive issue now. Buyers are coming to us saying, I want the more greener data center, and Schneider can get you there, right?
yeah, and the thing is, I mean, if you thought in the past, maybe we see sometimes that really building quick and dirty
Yeah.
in order to do it, then to sold it, or maybe it's dead. This model is dead.
Mm.
So you have to really think CapEx, but as well OpEx, and then of course services.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, you need to be sustainable,
Mhm.
but at the same time to be resilient. So the equation is not easy to do, and you need people to support you, and that's what we do.
That's right. That's right. All right. So shifting gears just a little here to another big industry topic, the edge.
The
Again,
buzzword.
yeah, the edge. What are the biggest hurdles that you see operators running into regarding edge deployment, and how can Schneider's EcoStructure solutions help?
So the main problem with the edge is, in fact, we talk about hybrid infrastructure. So you have the link between big data center, cloud anywhere in the world. Then you've got the medium data center and the small data center, which are at the edge. What means edge? Because the word is sometimes, yeah, it's a real word, is how you are closer to the people to do better. That's the main topic. But if you want to manage it with less people,
Mm-hmm.
how do you do this? And what does EcoStructure? We help you to standardize your infrastructure with the right products, with the right solution, and at the same time to really drive them. I give you one example, and I'm based in Switzerland, so I can talk about banking.
Mm.
If you have a bank with large data center, with confidentiality, and with small branch,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have people in a branch to manage it, how do you manage that?
Right.
And that's what we do. We are employee.
Nicole Schneider.
Yes,
I
that's
love it.
it.
I love it. So where can our viewers go to learn more?
Okay.
Uh,
So to learn more, easy, our website. And I mean, we have people everywhere in Europe. So just reach us. And that's it.
That's it, guys. SchneiderElectric.com. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Vincent,
very
for your
much.
time here on JSA TV. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in as always. And stay safe, guys. Happy networking. Welcome, everybody, to JSA TV Live. We are live streaming from Antibes, guys. This is the wonderful newsroom for telecom and data center professionals, JSA TV Live. Today, we are speaking with investors, data center platform owners, and energy specialists as they converge right here at Platform Congress along the French Riviera. Woohoo! All right, guys, I'm Jamie Scotto Kataya. Joining me today is my friend Thierry Chamayou. He is the Vice President of Cloud and Service Providers in the MEA here for Schneider Electric. Thierry, welcome to JSA TV Live.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. Really, truly. And as you said, beautiful place out here where to be on top of everything.
The French Riviera. Can you beat this location?
Nah.
No. And gorgeous September weather. Literally the heart of the world. We're right here. So also, we should mention you were the very opening speaker today at Platform Congress, really setting the pace for the event. Can you tell us what are the key points you hope attendees walked away with today?
Well, you said it. It's very interesting actually to be the keynote speaker and opening that platform event, because you're always trying to figure out whether you're going to be making the point or are you going to be clear enough.
Yeah.
Are people ready to hear you what you're saying? Because we've all enjoyed a very nice dinner the night before.
Yeah. Care of Schneider.
So no, in all fairness. What was important for us to share was again, the fact that in Schneider Electric, what we are extremely proud of is the fact that we're a growing tech company. That our commitment to sustainability is paramount and not to be proven, because that's something that we have started, more than 20 years ago, and it's all about sharing what we've been through, what we see, how we anticipate that should be the new trends. We're all clear about what has to be happening and how definitely focus we have to be on the climate change and do the appropriate and necessary measure. So I was very happy to take the audience through what is super important and at the very heart of Schneider Electric. As I said, we look at it in a very holistic way of it, and it's very much in our DNA.
Absolutely. Schneider Electric, the DNA, core values, absolutely lives with sustainability. So what are you most looking forward to this week at Platform Congress?
I I tend to say that a good day for me is when I get to bed a bit less silly than the way I woke up in the first place in the morning. So
I like
learning.
That.
I think that learning is the most important thing, and learning not for keeping it, learning for sharing it. So my ambition, my obsession for this week is to understand, see, feel what others have gone through, and for me to share 100% that what we're doing, what we've been doing, and what we're actually putting in place for the future. So that sharing, that cross knowledge sharing, that open platform that we've talked about. Yeah.
And such an international stage as well. It's really quite the audience here.
Look, you're right. The word is here.
Mm-hmm.
I was chatting with a friend of mine, longtime friend from South Africa. Now is flying back and forth between the U.S. and South Africa. I've seen people from Northern Europe, Eastern Europe, Middle East, you name it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and just later today, in a couple of interviews later, we'll have the chairman of IX Africa joining us as a further example of this international congress here today. Now, there's a lot of talk on sustainability efforts within the industry. Of course, a topic, like we mentioned, core to Schneider's business. Schneider's outlined a concrete, ambitious targets for sustainable impact in support of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Can you tell us a little bit more about this program and your company's involvement?
Absolutely. So let me bounce back, baby, on something that I shared and introduced this morning during the presentation. So you were there, so you heard it. So, but I think that for the people listening and watching us today, I think it's very important. From the outset, when Schneider has been embarking into sustainability, for us, we've made absolutely zero space for debate on whether we should articulate that in a manner that is going to be a kind of private, very linked to what Schneider does and does only. So the only way that we could have something which is going to be really impactful is to take essentially a size-based target. Is to take on everything that as you rightly said, the sustainable development goals that United Nations has put forward and embraced. So I mean, those six elements is 100% part of our strategy. The way we look at that strategy, by the way, is very simple or difficult, the one you want to play it. But we do believe it's very simple. It's lead by example. So it's our CEO who's actually driving it from the very top of the organization and is making sure that it percolates down into the entire organization. And just to make sure that we're having at any given time a local feel and a local implication to the community, we have divided those six major commitment into a set of 11 plus 1. The plus 1 is actually the local goal that we have into what we call internally the Schneider sustainability impact, and where we start measuring again on science-based targets, what we're doing, how we're doing. And this is not only limited to the CO2 emission. We're talking about the water and the wastewater. We're talking about giving a chance to a person, irrelevant of male, female, young, talent, experience, sound experienced people. We're also making sure that we're applying that in the way that we select our suppliers.
Yeah.
And there is something which is very important in sustainability, which is very important around the ESG discussion, is that if you mean what you say, it means that at a point in time you have to make a choice in your suppliers. And
Yes.
for us, the choice has been to explain to all of our suppliers, to all of our customers, to all of our stakeholders who we are and how we do those things. And making a choice means that we need to cut at times. So there are some suppliers that are still our suppliers because they have embraced our goals, our ambition, and that's the reason why you've heard that our ambition in Schneider Electric is to have, in 2050, the entire, supply chain to be absolutely carbon zero.
So amazing and so important too, as businesses are really trying to understand what their scope 3 emissions are. They need to understand who their suppliers are and how they're protecting and getting more green for our environment. So if you could give one piece of advice for the companies out there who are on their journey towards digital transformation, what would it be and why?
Well, I would say the very key element is don't look back. There is only one thing that we're sure of about the future, is that we don't know. The only thing that we're aware of, and that's what I was sharing this morning again, we're saying that we are actually that generation talking about climate change who is actually witnessing what's happening and having the opportunity to change that.
Yeah.
The digital transformation is absolutely needed in the sense that you cannot leave with managing hardware or getting the hardware to end up managing what you're doing, because you cannot react on time. You need to be capable of managing remotely. You need to be capable to understand way in advance before anything occurs. You need to be on a predictive capability. And again, I think that if you mix, the digital transformation, which is inevitable. You heard me talk about, the COVID-19. Some people are saying that it's, what fuels, some kind of recession, or the trend that says that, density in urbanization and so on and so forth has a direct impact on the climate change, because that has not changed, but as a priority. But the reality is that, if you go with a recession, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
People are going to digitalize to be capable to survive to that earthquake. So at the end of the day, your digital transformation is inevitable. every data you're going to create to manage your business tomorrow and not to be managed by that business has to be managed into our data centers, and our data centers have to be absolutely green because the pledge to the climate pledge and the climate change is something that we do not negotiate. So you could see that there is a very virtuous circle that we have embarked with our stakeholders, with our customers. So the one message would be, don't change. I mean, or don't leave space for doubt. That's the only way forward. Make it right. So make it green and make it with us.
Yes, yeah. Think forward. Think forward, as my husband likes to say. Think green, think Schneider.
Exactly.
All right, so where can our viewers go to learn more? SchneiderElectric.com?
Twice. One for you, one for whoever else.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you
here
very much.
today
Thank
and
you.
for your wonderful keynote, inspiring us all. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV Live. And as always, stay safe, stay green, and happy networking. Welcome, everyone, to JSA TV Live, the live streaming newsroom for data center professionals. Today, we are speaking to you with investors, data center platform owners, and energy specialists right here as they converge at Platform Congress in the French Riviera. So, I'm Jamie Scotto Kataya, guys, and joining me today, we're so honored to have Deborah McGargle. She is the CEO of FAR, an early stage venture backed SaaS solution that provides interactive experiences and augmented reality tools, which we can integrate into a customer's existing digital collateral. So, here to tell us more, Miss Deborah, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's an honor to have you, Deborah. You are, of course, a longtime entrepreneur as well as a corporate equity lawyer. What are you hoping to gain from Platform this year?
And the conference itself for me, it was almost like it was written for me.
Mm.
It was full of data, technology, investment, venture capital. It was everything. I think they'd probably just looked at my resume and said, hey, we'll just lay this on for you. My primary focus is investment. There is so much investment coming into data centers. We've seen such an incredible spike over the last 2 years. So I want to know, where is the money coming from?
Yeah.
Where is the money going? We've seen recent news reports just in the last week alone of how funds are advertising just how much more they've raised. That has to be deployed somewhere, Jamie. It has to be.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know where it's going, and what better setting than here at Platform, because I'm able to get this information straight from the industry leaders. There's global professionals here, and it's already been wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. You've already had a good feel, good energy,
Incredible,
right?
incredible.
Such an international crowd as well.
Yes,
It's
and
been,
it's upbeat, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
It's positive messaging, which
Yes.
is fantastic.
Yes, yes. And talking upbeat and positive message, can you tell us a little bit about FAR and the inspiration behind its launch?
I've been an entrepreneur. I've had multiple startups over the years. I keep saying I'm not going to do any more, and then here we go
And
again.
here we go.
FAR develops technology in the Web 3.0 metaverse space. Now, before everybody goes, the technology, we're playing around in this space with our software. We want to see where it's going. My particular interest is augmented reality. So I'm really keen to see what role augmented reality will play in this space. I also love some crypto. So I'm quite interested to see what happens in the metaverse with crypto.
And thank you, guys. We are back after that brief moment from our sponsors, and we are here talking live at the Platform Congress with Miss Deborah McGargle, the CEO of FAR. And Deborah, we were just mentioning, what was the inspiration of your launch of FAR?
FAR is really playing around in the Metaverse 3.0 space. I have been hearing all this news about the metaverse. I know that many people groan about the metaverse and, oh, what is it? And mind you, they did do that at Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. So perhaps a Web 3.0 might just be the one this time.
Yes.
With FAR, I didn't want to participate in Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse. I think it looks great, but as a woman in my 40s, the thought of becoming an avatar and working in the metaverse and socializing in the metaverse and playing in the metaverse, I'm afraid it's just a step too far for me. But I don't want to be precluded from the technology.
Right.
I want to be able to access it as well, but I want to be able to access it when I want to access it.
Right.
So if I want to take in my natural surroundings without any technology, then I should be able to. But equally, using existing tools like my mobile phone, I should also be able to open up the world that I want to see with content that's relevant to me as an actual human, as opposed to an avatar.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's sort of a wonderful lead in, really, because you are joining us tomorrow in a great conversation, a great roundtable on women in finance and technology. Certainly, in your opinion, why is diversity so important, especially in the tech industry, and why now?
I don't think this is a difficult question. I don't think this is a difficult question at all. If you have a diverse workforce, if you put diversity at the very centre of your workforce, you have more creativity, you have better ideas, you have a much broader sense. And you're able to apply that to the products and services that you're making, which makes for the most innovative products and services that you can then go on to deliver to your customer. I can't believe we're still having the diversity conversations.
That's true.
I think that it should just be a complete no-brainer. If you want to deliver the best to your customers or your end users, then the only way that you can do it is by having diversity in the building of those products and services to begin with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on the same topic, what advice do you have for the younger women interested in pursuing a career in technology field today?
The words technology field are really... Let me start that again. We need a rebrand.
Yes.
We need a complete rebrand, don't we?
Yes.
When we use the words technology sector, it just makes all of the women run from the shores. I am a lawyer. I work with marketeers. I work with accountants. We're all part of this technology sector.
Yeah.
I think when women, particularly younger women, hear the words technology sector, they think computer scientists, they think engineers, and they think no makeup, hair tied back. I can still be a brilliant legal technologist. I can still be a CEO of a technology company in this new world that's developing, and I can still like makeup and want to do my hair.
Seriously.
So a full rebrand is
Yes.
exactly what's needed here. And my advice to answer the question for these young women is, please just see past the brand, see past the messaging. If you look past the messaging, perhaps it's not even a question, or perhaps it's not even advice to young women. Is it not a case that it's an advice to the educators and to those who are advising about careers? That's maybe is where this is best landed. But technology sector is nothing to be frightened of, and so much to be gained. I've had a really rich career in this sector.
Yes, yes, you are absolutely a great example of a success story
Thank
in
you.
our tech and investor financial industries combined. Tell us more about why your passion lies with disruptive technologies and grassroots innovation.
I'm a sucker for the innovator. I'm a sucker for the outsider. I think that people who are prepared to run with a completely random idea or try to disrupt a sector that's already been nailed on in full, and they have got the gumption to go for that with no money and no customers. I think that for me is bravery itself.
Yes.
It's bravery personified, and I can't help myself. I love this sector because to see all of these wonderful ideas, the wealth of brains, the collaborative approach within the disruptive sector, there's no other sector like it. And what would be my alternatives? I could be in a corporate law firm.
Yeah.
I could be delivering in a very grey box and earning an awful lot of money, or I could just be working with the best of the best and people who hopefully in years to come will go on to be super successful and have their businesses showcase at an event like this at Platform.
Well, what a great example of following your heart and your passion and creating a career out of it. Thank you, Miss Deborah. And tell us, where can our viewers go to learn more about FAR?
So we have our website, which is f-ar.co. You can find us on there, and also you can follow me on Twitter, where you can hear my ramblings about technology, augmented reality, and investment, and that's at Deborah McGargle.
Oh, we love that. And okay, so it's f.ar.co.
That's
yes.
right.
Oh, wonderful. We will definitely check that out, guys. And thank you so much, Deborah McGargle, for your time here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV Live here at Platform Congress. As always, guys, stay safe, stay green, and happy networking. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're logging in from. Today, it is JSA TV Live from Platform Congress. This is the first full day of an exciting Congress where we're really gathering telecom and data center professionals, investors, energy specialists as they converge here in the south of France at Platform Congress. And of course, I'm Jamie Scotto Kataya.
And I'm Barb Mitchell, and I had the opportunity to watch myself in person our first few interviews of the day. Where Jamie, tell us who you spoke with earlier.
Very exciting morning thus far. We had Vincent Barrault. He's the Vice President of Secure Power from Schneider Electric. Schneider, huge sponsor, huge supporter of Platform Congress in its inaugural year. And then also we were joined by Thierry Chemerieu. He is the Vice President of Cloud and Service Providers in the EMEA. Also from Schneider. He was also our keynote speaker this morning, inspirational man. Great interview there. And we just wrapped up with Deborah McGargle, the CEO of FAR, where she's doing extraordinary cutting edge technology, really talking Web 3.0, augmented reality, and the metaverse. So captivating stuff here.
Yeah, and we're not done,
No,
right? We
just
still
beginning.
have several more people to speak with today. We're taking a little bit of a break here for lunch. It's lunchtime in the French Riviera at the moment. But starting up again around 2 o'clock, we'll be speaking with Lena Tayera from Orient Consulting, Guy Wilner from IX Africa, and our friend Nicola Hayes from the platform group, part of one of the organizers here, putting on this fantastic event. But she's also doing very important work as associate dean for the London South Bank University School of Business. So we're excited to speak with her and all of our speakers here today.
Yeah. And we are also joining several of the speakers on a panel tomorrow for women in tech, as well as getting the ROI roadmap for getting to net zero carbon net zero, a big topic, of course, from our book called Greener Data. So much activity, guys. We're talking sustainability. We're talking how to see the next level of digital transformation, how it impacts us, and we're talking energy. Energy is a big issue, not just here in Europe, but globally, of course, and where are the investment opportunities? So very active global audience, and really exciting to be here on Platform Congress floor live chatting with y'all.
Yeah, and we're so happy you could tune in to us live from wherever you are. It's obviously great to be here in person, but we're happy to invite you to tune in to our live stream as we talk to these people. And as Jamie said, what a fantastic event. We're only on day 2, and much more to come. And we look forward to sharing it with you all.
And as always, guys, stay safe, stay green, and happy networking.
Welcome to JSA TV Live, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Barb Mitchell, coming to you today live from the beautiful French Riviera, where we're speaking today with investors, data center platform owners, energy specialists, all converging here at this first annual Platform Congress event. And joining me today, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Lena Tayera, founder and CEO of Orient Consulting Services. Lena, it's a pleasure to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just as an introduction?
Oh, hi. The pleasure is mine. I've actually have my own. Set up my own company, Orient Consulting Services. After having had a career as a television producer, actually, and working in market research and business intelligence, having met the chairman of Platform, Philip Lowe, and he's opened this opportunity for me to collaborate with him on a platform that brings in for inclusivity in the TMT space. We felt in 2008, if you remember, there was a crash, and the only sector that was still working, against the grain was really the telecom sector. And where specifically was the Middle East. A lot of the big telcos were loaded at the time and they were looking to actually expand and invest elsewhere. So this is how I started being involved in the TMT sector and kind of build up to this point where we're talking, the conversation has moved so much, because now we're talking about the future technology that's going to enable the metaverse. What's it going to be? What's it, what kind is it going to be, cloud, or is it going to be edge, etc.? So the whole set of conversation, the fundamentals are the same, is that we're talking about the infrastructure that's powering our digital future.
Yeah.
And so the other dimension of this, I don't know if you want me to mention now, my own initiative. I created a publication called Let's Talk Tech. And this is a personal initiative because I feel these conversations that we having here, which is amongst specialists and geeks and technicians, what have you, need to be expanded. We need to bring in people into this conversation, widen the debate, not only geographically, but also different cultures and different regions.
And there's so much being talked about on that front here. As you said, a lot of people are coming back together for, one of the first times really since things closed down a couple of years ago. But it's, sustainability, as you said, the metaverse, all the new trends in the industry are being discussed. And you mentioned your Let's Talk communication. Let's talk
tech.
Let's Talk Tech newsletter.
It's supposed to be catchy.
Yeah, Let's Talk Tech. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you're hoping to gain here from being at this event this week, from financial insights and more.
Well, I have a practice that is a long-term practice to follow the information or the story from the story maker, from the original source of it. And there is no better source for government or corporates than level C, so CEO level. When they get, and especially when you put them together in a third-party event, so they're not actually speaking a written word by their PR teams or some corporate communication. They're actually sharing their insights and their knowledge. This has helped me grow a lot. It's helped me gain a lot of perspective from, but you have to be curious as well. You have to want to. And I would like to relay this passion for learning and this curiosity to other people by writing storytelling about technology and what's going on in technology, trying to interest people. So hopefully they will meet me halfway and be interested because it's for all our good. I think people who are designing and thinking about the technology and planning the future cannot do this in a myopic way on their own in some plush office or at home, wherever that may be. I think they will benefit from widening the debate and including a variety of people because of it's the correct, the ethical thing to do. The future of this planet is we're sharing it, so it's for all of us to be knowledgeable about what they do, but also you want to make sure that if you like, the marketplace is knowledgeable enough so you don't face problems, and you have what I call informed adoption. So whoever is going to buy your technology or use your product, etc., will be informed about it and will do so, if you like, responsibly to themselves, to the society, to the environment. And this, at the same time, it has a third dimension. Sorry, I'm kind of going on about this, but the other dimension, it will lessen the work for regulators because it's self-regulating. When people know about something, people have enough wisdom and intelligence to know how they will interact with it.
And I think you mentioned a little bit about bringing different people to the table in this conversation, and that is a nice segue, I think, into talking about diversity, which has been a topic in our industry for quite some time now. But I know that tomorrow you're speaking on a panel, actually, with Jamie, our founder and CEO, is moderating a panel
Yes.
with you on the role of women in technology.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want me to talk about
Yeah. I
inclusion,
mean,
diversity?
tell us about what you think is, what are the benefits of implementing that sort of viewpoint?
Okay, well, I think about things in different ways. So I'll try and introduce that thought. So we tend to look at, the old-fashioned way to look at the value of introducing something new, as in KPI. But we kind of rose above this because I think there is a new metric, if you like, in the corporate world, which is called ESG.
Yes,
So
yeah.
this is something that everyone will be looking at: your investor, your financier, the general public. And I hope that the ESG is not going to be box ticking. It's going to be a genuine conviction on behalf of a big organization that don't have diversity to rethink that and think how they kind of how this could be, how their performance can be better improved by having different perspectives from different cultures and different geographic location. I'll mention two examples for you, maybe to bring the idea closer. One is historic and one is very modern. So I'll take you from the days of Marco Polo.
Yes. Okay.
So
Let's start there.
Let's
shall
start
we?
there.
Yeah.
So he's traveled the world, and he actually, his destination was China. So he wanted to serve or work with Genghis Khan, and we are very close to this man who controlled all these armies and who pretty much ruled the whole world at the time.
Yeah.
What he did, he sent him on an expeditions to go to different places and figure out how people do things, to learn from them.
Right.
Okay, now bring you back to current history. I've been watching some of the things I do when I don't have the chance to see CEOs face to face. Is actually to watch podcasts of CEOs.
Yes,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm self-admitted podcast addict
Yes,
of
that's
CEO.
fair.
Please
Good
continue
admission.
to do them. So before I came, I've heard Elon Musk describe the, if you like, sustainability of a company is its usefulness, or its not just perceived usefulness. How useful are you to society or to consumer or to a citizen?
Yeah.
So he believes in, okay, you are useful to people, you will continue, you will be a useful company. This is pretty much ESG in a nutshell.
Yeah. So ESG is, I agree. I mean, it seems to be, it's something that every single organization has a position on, or is developing a position on, is thinking about how to advance their efforts towards this. And that's an important part of what's being discussed, I think, this week at this conference. Talk about some other tech innovation, specifically in the MENA district. And are there some things that you could highlight?
Yes, there's a couple of trends maybe worth pointing here. One, it's at the highest level. There's a difference between the Western region, developed economies, and the major developing economies. So, for example, in the GCC countries, Gulf Cooperation Council, it's the government that is driving the tech advancement and the growth, not the private sector. So eventually, they'll have to come on board, and so would the general population, because you can't. We say, they're saying in Arabic, one hand doesn't clap, right?
Right.
So you need everyone on board. But I'm talking who's driving, who's leading. Whereas here, you see, it's all of this is the private sector. They're driving all the innovation.
Right.
Okay, and the government is way behind. So this is one trend. It's going to be. There's a lot of funds, and especially that this year has been a good year. I mean, Saudi Arabia is the fastest growing economy this year. It's faster than Asia, than the G7 and other major emerging
And
economies.
they're very dedicated in investing heavily
They're very.
into
There's
innovation.
all the money is sovereign in the sovereign wealth funds in
Yes,
the Middle
yeah,
East.
yeah.
So watch out for mergers and acquisitions. They'll be looking for to expand, if you like, their capabilities within the tech sector, and it's going to be very competitive because there are a few potential unicorns, and everybody wants them, right?
Yeah.
So that's the trend on the one side. On the other hand, I think the region itself, we have our own innovation. I consider myself from the Middle East, so I'm an Arab person who's lived in London forever. So I would say we. Uh, so yeah, there is innovation that is happening in the ecosystem. I'll give you one example now, but they're not very good at communicating about it. It's back to that kind of weakness, the weak spot of communication. People don't know what the other person is doing. It's like you don't know what the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. But I think in the blockchain and crypto space, one emirate is driving forward, which is Dubai.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people who are working in the crypto, Bitcoin, Web3, metaverse, and what have you, this whole ecosystem. They're finding it very attractive. There are incentives to go and set up in Dubai. And to create, I mean, this is the generation of innovators. They're creating the next groundbreaking usage of the blockchain, because at the moment the blockchain is still interconnected with crypto and Bitcoin, but there are much wider usage for it.
Right.
And once you've got this system is established there, and it's kind of slightly, they will have to figure out, I mean, they have regulation and incentive in place, but it's interesting for us to see what mistakes are made, what we can learn from that.
And there's so many applications that are yet untapped. We were actually just
Exactly.
speaking of that this morning, that you can't have crypto without blockchain, but you can have blockchain without crypto. And in fact, there's so many applications that are still being discovered and still being explored that
Exactly. So
are of benefit.
exactly, we're talking about just creating communities and ecosystem. I think that's the way forward, going forward, and collaborations. These are, I leave you with these my pet love words to the
Collaboration,
to civilization. We all want a better world, but nobody's quite defined it.
So let's just end with one final question. And I think, because as we start to think of the future, and I think that it may be nice just to highlight a couple things. I know you're leading a panel tomorrow on the future of NEOM. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Just a couple of key points.
NEOM was today, and I can give you a little. I think we had a very nice insight, because
Yeah.
not everyone knows what NEOM is, but we just figured
We
out.
just had a little
what was-
conversation
can
about
you-
it. Yeah, it's
what
interesting.
what was the name about?
New future.
Exactly. So we had today a man who is helping create the infrastructure that's going to power up this future. So what you hear from now and again, you will have articles about NEOM and the line and Oxagon and this and that. But how are you going to power all this up? So there are people already thinking about the digital infrastructure that it will enable this dream, right? So this is the kind of moving from smart city to cognitive city. To move to cognitive city, you're going to have to, if you like, analyze a lot of data. Maybe
There's a
or
lot
you,
of work to be done.
there's a lot of work to do. So we've had those insights from NEOM, but we also heard from them call to partners, and they trying to attract. They know they can't do this alone. Nobody can. The future to be created is going to be a collective thing. It's too
And
massive.
collaborative.
Collaborative,
Right,
my
to bring
favorite
in
word.
your-
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they called for people to say, come and work with us. And it was a very
Oh, that's good,
interesting.
yeah.
And yeah, so we've learned. I mean, I think they're breaking the ground of the first data center, which will be massive, but there are more in the pipeline.
Yep.
And data center is is a high capital business. That's there's a whole ecosystem connected with it, including financier and investor, real estate. You know, you've seen the kind of people who
Yeah,
are
everyone
here
that's
today,
here, they're
and
all
this is what was
all part of
amazing.
making it come to life.
Exactly, that's what is amazing. Is sometimes you go to events and you hear one thing, but today we've been walked around every corner. Yeah.
The whole picture. Yeah. Well, this has been really interesting. Where can we send our viewers who want to connect with you or learn more about all these great insights that you can share?
Oh, my LinkedIn profile.
okay.
I haven't. I have to admit, I am behind to develop. I want to develop much more platforms. But please bear with me until I do. At the moment, I'm finding it. I have enough time and bandwidth just to maintain
you're
a presence on
busy
LinkedIn.
working.
I
Yeah.
know. I need
We'll-
maybe more support to develop this initiative of mine. So anybody who can support my initiative, let's talk. Please contact me. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen for you here.
Yes.
And thank you again so much for tuning in to JSA TV live as we
Thank you
stream
very much.
today from
Pleasure.
Platform Congress in Antibes in the French Riviera. Happy networking. Welcome to JSA TV Live, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Barb Mitchell, coming to you today from Platform Congress in the beautiful French Riviera, where we're speaking with investors, data center platform owners, and energy specialists. Joining me today, I'm very pleased to introduce you to Wouter van Hulten, CEO of PAX Data Centers. Wouter, thank you so much for joining us. We just started having such a great conversation this morning, and we thought, let's get everyone else to be part of this conversation. So pleased to have you here. Tell us a little bit about PAX Data Centers, if you could.
Yes, Barb, that's great. It's great to be here, and I'm happy to talk about the PAX data centers. That's Pan-African Internet Exchange data centers, where we design, build, and operate cloud and carrier-neutral data centers, and we are active on the African continent. We have a presence in 2 countries, and we have a pipeline of 5 more countries where we will be deploying the latest and greatest data center technology to host the equipment from our customers. And so the clients that we serve are both from the African continent and international, and we provide them with the latest services, as you can expect on other continents.
And I understand from speaking with you earlier, I mean, things are busy for you. Were able to take the time out to come here to join Platform Congress. I mean, it's in Antibes, so maybe not a hard sell, right? It's a nice location, but also a very impressive Congress and event. Very good conversations here. What are you hoping most to take away from this week's sessions?
Now, so the organizers of this conference, the platform team, have done an amazing job in bringing some of the experts together on the industry. And it's always good to catch up on the latest developments, what is going on, and what are the changes taking place, and to exchange views with colleagues from the industry. And so we just had today a discussion with some of the other players and actors that are present on the African continent, and it's really exciting to see that it's an investable proposition. Investments are being made in all the different elements of the industry. So that's in telecoms, in fiber, and also in the data centers themselves. And so we're one of the actors on the continent and making contribution there and actually doing great business.
Yeah, it was so interesting when we were speaking earlier, just to hear the rapid transformation really that's happening in the African data center landscape. Can you talk a little bit about sort of where things have come from in just such a short amount of time and where they're going?
Yes, so to trace back this a little bit, so it started in some conversations in 2014 and 15 when some of our customers asked us to come and assist them in Africa, on the African continent, and that's when we decided to take a look, and we really came to the observation that there's some of this know-how that we have in our industry needs to be taken there, and actually then we can set up local businesses in many African markets which can then run the same data center services that we have in Europe. And I've been in part of this industry for more than 20 years. Yes, and so that started a journey then to set up a data center business, and now we're operational in Ghana and in Kenya.
Well, yeah, and I can only imagine one of the challenges. I mean, there's so many things you're busy and needing to pull together, from investors to infrastructure and all of that, but the talent, right, to bring this to life is a challenge of its own. And how have you been addressing that?
Well, that's one of the most superb, fantastic aspects of Africa. That the amount of talent that's available and that's in the countries around Africa is enormous and tremendous, and it's a pleasure to work with. Of course, you need to find them, but they're there, and so we're building local teams in all the markets where we go, and we train them on, and make them part of our business, and they become the local managers of our data center operations. Yeah, so 2 countries in operation now, and five more coming soon. Yeah, and of course it's a large continent, 54 countries with opportunities across the continent.
Yeah.
But the talent is everywhere.
Yeah. It's hard to fathom the size and the scale and the opportunity that exists there. We really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of what I'm sure is an extremely busy day for you. We appreciate hearing from you. Where can we send viewers who want to connect with you or learn more about your business?
So for PAX, we've got our website, paix.io. That's good to visit. What may also be of interest to the viewers, if they want to have the bigger picture on Africa, is that we have Africa Data Centers Association, of which I'm the Secretary General, and that has its offices in Abidjan, and that's in Ivory Coast, West Africa. And we do a lot of sort of promotional work and informational work about the state of the industry on the continent. So, and of course, people are also always free to reach out on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. You can find PAX data centers on pax.io and again on LinkedIn. Thank you for tuning in. We've been here with you live today from Antibes in the south of France at Platform Congress, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. Happy networking. Welcome to JSA TV, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Barb Mitchell, coming to you today live from Platform Congress in Antibes in the beautiful French Riviera. Joining me today is Guy Wilner, Chairman of IX Africa.
Hi there.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
The event this week has been fantastic so far. We're on the second day of this inaugural event where we're speaking with investors, data center platform owners, and energy specialists as they all have come together in this fantastic location. What do you think of the event so far? Have you been able to meet with everyone you've hoped so far?
Yeah, it's been far too interesting, unfortunately, to be able to escape and get outside in the sunshine, which is beaming down here. So it's kind of summer here still. But we're all stuck here because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? And I let's just, I guess, get right into it then, right? I know that IX Africa is developing East Africa's largest hypercloud ready campus on 4.3 acre site in Nairobi.
That's correct. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I like doing crazy
endeavor.
projects. I think I've been doing emerging markets for many years. Because I set up IX Europe originally back in '99, and we built that out and sold it to Equinix in 2007. So Equinix Europe was kind of our little baby, which and a lot of people are still there from that old company. And after that, I started getting involved in a number of emerging markets projects, such as Terraco in South Africa, and during that journey, we started looking at Kenya. So been looking at it for a few years now.
Yeah, the growth in that whole area has been phenomenal, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think finally Africa's getting into the spotlight.
Yeah. A lot of investors interested in the area, a lot of new development, I think, and energy is a big point of conversation.
But that's that's a new thing for Africa, I think, given the whole sort of energy crisis we've got in Europe at the moment and the price of electricity. There are some countries around the world where actually it's more stable. So ironically, you might get people building in places like Kenya because it's perceived to be more stable long term than some countries in Europe.
Yeah, interesting. And Kenya has 75% renewable energy.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a secret behind all of this. Kenya doesn't use much energy. If you look at Nairobi, it's 1,700 meters altitude, so it's about 24 degrees all year round. In the winter it's about 12, 14, and in the summer it might be 26. So you don't really need air conditioning. You don't need much heating. You might not even need hot water. And, and it's a new young economy, so there's not so many cars. So actually, if you put in 300 megawatts of geothermal energy into the grid, that moves the needle. That's quite a significant chunk of power. If you put that same chunk in, say, Germany or France, you wouldn't even notice it. Mm-hmm. So as a result, each new green energy project in Kenya really makes a difference to the total mix. So that's why we're at 75%. It's hydro, geothermal in the Rift Valley, and wind power in the Yongong Hills. Yeah. So you've got a whole mixture of...
Putting the environment to work to your benefit, right?
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, that's great to be able to leverage that. I mean, it's a lot of benefits there. And what about here at the event? Have you been talking to any energy specialists in particular? What are people saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm interested to see what new moves are going on in terms of the power and cooling of data centers and how you can future-proof them. We've really got to be careful. I've been building data centers for 20 years now, so what you don't want is to have a data center that after 5 years you have to rebuild again because things have changed. Right. So I'm here to sort of understand what the state of the art is. But it really depends on the country. I think you really have to look at each country individually.
Mm-hmm. So when you look ahead in Africa and the development of digital infrastructure beyond where you are now, what are some of the trends that you're seeing?
Well, I mean, as one of the conference people said today, Africa's got 1% of the global data center market at the moment. It's got 17% of the world's population, and it's 4% of the GDP of the planet. So as that 4% increases, that 1% is going to increase an awful lot. Right. So there's this really very, only about 2 years ago, I think there was more data center capacity in Luxembourg, which is 500,000 population, than the whole of the African continent. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to build.
Yeah, a lot of catching up to do.
A lot of catching up, and it's difficult for investors to find teams that they can actually invest in. That's one of the problems we've got at the moment.
Is that right?
Not enough
finding local talent.
Yeah, not enough talent on the ground yet. That's changing, but it's changing.
And so what's being done to to change that? Is it
It's a catalyst,
recruitment
as we build our Kenya data center, as other people build data centers in Ghana and Nigeria or wherever in South Africa. You're getting more and more people, design companies, construction companies, employees, marketing, or whatever, learning about the market.
Right.
They may leave and form their own companies, so you get this sort of virtuous circle creating.
Right. It's a bit of an awareness, first of all,
Yeah.
right, of the opportunity and
That's
everything that can be done there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this has been really interesting. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. And where can our viewers go to learn a little bit more?
So they can go and see ixafrica.co.ke, which is Kenya, and take a look at what we're doing there, or they can look on LinkedIn. Just search me, Guy Wilner, on LinkedIn, and I'm always posting something.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. We will all look for you online and on the website. And thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV Live as we stream to you today live from Platform Congress in Antibes in the beautiful south of France.
Thank you.
Happy networking. Welcome to JSA TV, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Barb Mitchell, coming to you today live from Platform Congress in Antibes in the beautiful south of France. And joining me today is Olivier Labbé, founder and CEO of CapDC. Welcome.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're joined today at Platform Congress. We're speaking with investors and data center platform owners, energy specialists, all converging at this first annual conference here in Antibes. And I'm happy to be speaking with you today, Olivier. And could you just tell us a little bit, first of all, just for our viewers, about CapDC?
Sure. So CapDC was created in 2015. I associated with the French engineering Cap-Ingélec, which is a leading engineering in critical infrastructure and technical building in France. And our target was to create in South Europe and Africa, mostly French-speaking Africa, where you do not have a lot of skills in data center engineering, a company able to support and help all the colocation companies that will come. They're already here in South Europe and will come very quick now in French-speaking Africa. So we have designed and built 1,500 data center, of which 70 in Africa, 70 only, but it's only the beginning.
Wow. It's a large collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I understand that's not all for you. Not only are you, so heavily involved in all this great expansion and development in the data center space, but also you're supporting a lot of investments, aren't you, with some startup data center companies?
We started because for sure in CapDC, as in the industry, I would say, we are trying and do our best to minimize the energy impact with the data center. And I think that all the data center industry is doing a great job. But now we are at a ceiling. It's now very difficult to improve. In France, you build for a PUE of 1.2, 1.3, you cannot do less. And so now you have to find new breakthrough ID innovation to find a way to make it better in order to support the IT growth. So for sure, in France, we have a lot of startups. The government helped the startup for now 5 years to grow as soon as possible. And it's time for me to advise this kind of company to accelerate and go in this data center business.
Right. So you've gathered all sorts of knowledge and expertise, and now you're giving it back.
Yeah,
You're sharing it.
And network and things like that, because always what is new is always difficult to collect. So, for instance, I have been investing in 2015 in Carnot Computing, which is a famous startup that decided that it's difficult to fight fatal heat in a classic data center building. Better to say the IT is fatal, and let's put the IT where you need heat. So their innovation was to put computing inside heater in the building, and each time the heat is on in a building, it's thanks to calculation. And for instance, just for the story, the last movie, The Minion 2, not 3, 2, was completely, there is a design render, because you need a lot of calculation to make this kind of movies.
Right.
All was performed on Carnot heater.
Oh, wow.
So it's carbon free, because what you use as IT energy to deliver this movie was only used to heat people, which is, I would say, a primary need. Yeah. So I try and work on this kind of innovation. And in France today, you have a lot of startups that are trying and break through the situation to avoid this huge energy consumption from the IT.
Mm-hmm. It's so important. It's so great that you're supporting these new data center developments as they're growing or as they're beginning. It's very important. And across our industry, I mean, we recently actually were part of publishing a book called Greener Data.
Yeah.
You may be familiar with it, but it's...
I will read it very soon.
Yes, you should read it. It's, very interesting to hear. In the same vein as what you're saying, is a lot of people have different ideas and expertise that they can bring to help move things forward. So it's very important work that you're doing. And so tell us a little bit about this event, Platform Congress. How have you... We're in day 2. How have you been enjoying it so far?
So we're just even not at the middle. So I'm still
Right.
discovering this first event. What I feel is it's certainly different with other events, less technical, more financing and business, which is also a very important part of the market.
Right.
And I listen a lot of things regarding the way the economy of data center is moving ahead. This morning I heard about tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. So that's to say we understand that data center business will not be anymore focused only on 5 or 6 big cities with a lot of data center concentration, which is not sustainable anymore, by the way.
Right.
So I think that there is an awareness about the fact that we will have now a localization of data center everywhere, and not only, which was the trend for 10 or 15 years, not only in big concentration cities. So we'll, in a nutshell, we will maybe less take care about the latency, and between you and me, it's not so important.
Yeah.
And we will more take care about where it is valuable to localize the data center, because you can recover the heat, the fatal heat, because it's easier to cool this data center instead of being as close as possible to the big network and backbone.
Yeah. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today. There's so much I think we can learn from you, and I know that the industry is benefiting from your wisdom, so we're happy to have had a moment of that today here as well. Where can our viewers go to learn a little bit more?
So you can have a look on our website, www.capdc.com.
Yep.
And for sure, personally on my LinkedIn, feel free if you want to discuss about data center innovation. That's definitely something I like, and I want to be part of it.
Yeah, our viewers will connect with you. We will connect with you, and cap-dc.com is the website to check out. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in live to JSA TV as we broadcast to you here today from Antibes at Platform Congress in the south of France. Happy networking.
edge data center.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to JSA TV Live. I'm Jamie Scott Okataya, live streaming here from the floor of Platform Congress in south of France, Antibes. Fabulous Antibes. And with me, I'm joined by an old friend and JSA TV expert. Our Narendra Sen comes back for round 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Of course, Narendra, CEO of Rack Bank Data Centers. Welcome back to JSA TV.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited to coming back on the same platform.
Yay! We're excited to have you.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys who missed it, you must check it out. Our previous video all about what it takes to deploy data centers across India. Of course, speaking from the man who knows best. And this time, we're going to dive a little deeper here. We
Yeah.
really want to get into first, who are the right target customers and what are the right locations in India for that you see for the data center community?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a great question, and everybody wants to know because India is coming up with a data protection law, and there's a panic around the customers around the globe, where we can go and get the data center capacity. So I think Mumbai is a preferred location for everyone to enter into India because it's the highest connected. Mumbai is the highest connected through the submarine cables, so that's the primary choice. Secondary is Chennai, but there are cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and other cities in India where the population is such a large, close to 5 million to 50 million people lives on those cities. So you can target wherever your target audience is. So this is like sites which I'm talking about. Second, you can prefer if you're a gaming company or you got applications and that consumed by Indian, you can check your locations and you can send it across to any data center operator in India, including us, so we can help you out to host in India.
And you touched upon it, but I really want to dig deeper here. What is the impact of the compliancy with the data sovereignty laws now hitting India?
So compliance is you have to have one copy in India, which is it's not like a GDPR where you just need some preferences to check.
Mhm.
But here the government has come forward with one copy should be in India. It's a critical data, non-critical, and personal data.
Interesting.
They have categorized in 3 category. So what we believe that putting one copy, it means all social media companies, India is home market for them. Like they got 500 million users in India. So they have to come to India and build their own data center or lease it with somebody else like us. So it's must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said the magic phrase there, 500 million users in India, which kind of leads us to our next question, really. How do we optimize cost? That's a lot of users. It's a lot of dollars. What would you say from a data center perspective to optimize the cost there?
So compared to any country in the world, India building a data center is low cost. Like you can build data center $4 to $5 million per megawatt, and it's cheaper than like here in France. The data center build cost in Europe is $8 to $9 million per megawatt.
Wow.
And India is $4 million. It's
Wow.
half of the price because we have all the electrical mechanical components that build manufactured in India. The labor cost is cheap. The land cost is cheap if you avoid metro area.
Right.
Go 30 kilometers away and build your data center is $4 million. It's very less. And I would request or give advice to the customer who want to come to India. If you want to come to India, like Mumbai versus Pune, it's on only 200 kilometers away, but your cost reduced by 50%.
Wow.
So you just need to choose locations near to the hubs, and you can reduce your cost.
And everyone's talking about getting to the edge, getting to those end users' eyeballs.
Yeah.
Here we have the eyeballs and we have the reduced cost in operations. So
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
nice little mix there. Okay. And obviously we've been obsessed with getting green. So I need to ask you, what does it take to get more green, more carbon neutral in India data centers?
Yeah. So Indian data center, as I talked about in our previous discussion, that the energy prices in India compared to grid versus solar is 30% cheaper. So adopting green is you don't need to pay premium for that. Number one. Number two, India is hot, humid climate. You can use liquid cooling and reduce your cost further 90%. Like PUE is currently 1.6 to 7. You can reduce to 1.01.
Really?
Yeah. So it is very much easily available solution in India. So you can use that solution for liquid cooling. You can ask your data center operator.
1.01 PUE.
Yeah.
Sign us up. Absolutely. So, for those who are, I'm sure, interested to learn more, where can they go to find more on your company?
Oh, absolutely. Website rackbank, RACK rackbank.com. You'll get information. Find me on LinkedIn or anywhere. Just Google it, Narendra. You'll get it. Not Modi. Our prime minister name is Narendra Modi.
Right. That's right, guys. Rackbank.com. Absolutely check it out. Narendra, a good friend. Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you in our hot seat on JSA TV. You do so well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV live from Platform Congress.
Thank you so much.
Stay green and happy networking.
Stay green.
Welcome, everybody, to JSA TV live streaming here from Platform Congress in Antibes. This is the live streaming newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Jamie Scotto Kataya, and I am so excited to be joined by my longtime friend, Nicola Hayes, the non-executive director here at Platform Group, as well as the Associate Dean of London Smith Bank University Business School. Yes.
Oh gosh, I don't know how you managed to do that with so much energy then, especially at this time of the day. Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight to be here with a microphone in front of me with you once again after years of COVID, and we're live in person.
I know, and I loved what you said to us earlier today. It's like we've been all trapped in an airport, just like suspended state for the past 2 years while we've been dealing with this pandemic. I thought it was such a great analogy. So welcome officially back to JSA TV Live, and congratulations on Platform Congress. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. We're very, very, very pleased with how it's gone. Couldn't ask for more, really, with an inaugural first run event. The atmosphere is fabulous, and it's just delightful to see so many happy faces.
Can you give our viewers a little bit of background? How did you guys dream this up?
Oh, of course. As most people, certainly within Europe, will know, the team behind Platform have been involved in this industry for many, many years, over 20 years now, and have been responsible for some of the most successful events in the world, and certainly in Europe. But what we realised, certainly, COVID was dreadful, but it gives you time to reflect and to think when you can't see people anymore. And it was, what are we missing? Are there too many industry events already? Because that is something that, some people do think. And we realised that the larger events are fantastic and the networking opportunities wonderful, but we've moved away from that really, really important key piece, which is the content. Yeah. And I think now more than ever, in post-COVID and with the way world economies are going, with everything that's going on politically, we need to actually have a platform to be able to share ideas and collaborate and to be able to learn from each other once again. So it was about bringing it all back to that content piece with high-level, very, very knowledgeable people in their areas so that we can learn together once again.
Yes, and not infomercials, but actual quality content from the real thought leaders, innovators of our infrastructure industry. I am in love with Platform Congress, I must say. And there's a certain energy on this floor. I mean, it really is just exciting to be in this room and to soak up this energy. How do you describe the energy of this year's Platform Congress?
And I think some of it being a smaller event, again, there's a real benefit to that because people get to talk to each other. You can find people. I think the content, the fact that those panel sessions, certainly that we had this morning, the keynotes that we've had are so interesting and so full of really rich content that everybody is just really enjoying it. They're seeing people they might not have seen for quite some time face to face. The place that we're holding it in Antibes is the vibe of the town itself, I think, is then mirroring itself in the vibe of the conference as a whole. So we are so happy that people have supported us this year. JSA, obviously, our sponsors taking a leap of faith for a first run event. And of course, our speakers, very, very senior, very, very busy professionals that have taken time out to come and speak for us, because without them, we wouldn't have the event that we have.
Yeah. And you're right. Having Antibes as a backdrop to this conference has really, there's unquestionable energy, and we mentioned content and great speakers. Tell us a little bit more about the key takeaways that you're hoping some of these attendees are walking away with.
Gosh, how long have you got? I could be here all day. I've learned so much as well. I mean, the key takeaways are that we're in a really interesting space. You know how long I've been in this industry, and it ticks over. But because of the wider geopolitical issues, all of a sudden things like investment, things like the fact that it is much more expensive to get hold of funding, the risk, the capital funding, decisions need to be made. Whereas for the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years, money has just been thrown into it because, let's face it, it was very cheap to get money from whichever form of investment. We're not in that environment anymore. And so I think we're going to see a huge shake-up in terms of where that investment goes. And certainly from some of the smaller, newer operators coming in, it's going to be a little bit more difficult and a lot more planning needing to go into it. The Africa presentation, the opportunities that are there, the things that are happening on the hyperscale, the investment in infrastructure at the ground level, in the networks, in the cables. All of that is again, you can read these things, but when you're hearing it live on a stage and getting that insider information from people that know this stuff inside out is just joyful. We've got 2 fantastic panels tomorrow, obviously. One being chaired by Jamie, which is women in data centers, and then the other that I'm chairing, which is diversity and inclusivity in the industry. So I'm looking forward to those now as well. Yes. But I'd like to let all the viewers know that this isn't going to be a one-off. We are already planning for next year's, which is going to be bigger and better, with more streams of content going on, so we can widen it out into more of the whole infrastructure piece, as well as looking at some of the operational side, as well as finance. And that's going to be being held back here in Antibes from the 2nd to the 4th of September 2023. And we've also got an event being held in Marrakesh that looks specifically at Africa, because it is such an exciting space, in June next year. So we hope to see you back there with us again.
Oh, that is so exciting. And I'll tell you, the international discussions have been exhilarating. Hearing from the African thought leaders on how they're really pushing their infrastructure to the next level. Hearing from, of course, so many Europeans here today, us Americans representing literally every corner of the world, so well represented. And now to hear this exciting news that you guys are just getting started. Congratulations. These dates are exciting.
Thank you.
I feel like, this is just breaking news, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the press release hasn't even gone out yet. So this is the first to hear. As always on JSA TV, the first with the up-to-minute news.
Love it, love it, love it. And I should say, too, that you've just been so involved in producing some of the top regarding industry events throughout your career. We mentioned that earlier. But how have you seen that these events have evolved over the years? What direction do you see them moving in the future?
Do you know, and I was thinking back, I was chatting to somebody earlier about this, because I organised the programme for the first ever event in this space in 2000 in London, and then in 2001 in San Francisco. The first ever events on data centres in the world. In many ways, do you know what? We haven't moved in a good way. We still have that there. But I do think that sometimes some of the events become almost a victim of their own success, because they become so large. They're fabulous in terms of the networking. They're great fun. But we do lose sight of that content piece. And I think going forward, we're going to see a lot more specialised events, whether it's on towers or whether it's on switches and gears, or whether it's on the actual cable side of things, that are more focused, rather than really large events, more focused on that content, more niche, and you know what, better developed in terms of giving inside valuable knowledge that people can take into their own businesses.
Nick, from us to you, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for all that you've done for this industry.
Thank you. And back at you.
Literally educated us for decades and provided platforms like this for us to network and grow together and collaborate.
And it's been a joy knowing you all these years.
So much
So
love.
let's hope in 20 years' time we're still sat here doing this.
Absolutely. Where else are we going to be? Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not Antibes? All right. So where can our viewers go to learn more about this fabulous event?
Go to the Platform Markets Group website. We're on LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn. You might have seen lots of things coming out there today, including the live TV streaming. But it's www.platformmarketsgroup.com.
Yes, there you guys have it. Thank you so much, Nick, for your time. As always, so generous. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV Live here from Antibes Platform Congress.
Thank
Happy
you very
networking,
much.
everybody.